Hey everyone, Shane here with etrailer.com. Today I have a 2019 Volkswagen Passat, and I want to walk you through how to install the Torklift EcoHitch. Adding a hitch to your vehicle is going to give you a lot of different options. Maybe you have bikes that you're getting tired of loading them into the trunk, or you don't want to get a bike rack for the top or get a rack for the roof to where you have to load your bikes up on top of the roof each time. Maybe you want to put a cargo carrier on to move some of the items from inside to outside to give you more room for your passengers. Maybe you want to pull a small trailer. This hitch is going to allow you to do all of that. It's going to be steel construction. It's going to have a black powder coat finish. It's really going to hold up well in all weather conditions. You'll notice that the cross tube is completely hidden behind the bumper fascia. The only thing we can really see is our receiver tube opening, which helps it maintain a nice clean look on the vehicle. Our receiver tube opening is going to be 2 inch by 2 inch. It's going to have a reinforced collar to give us a little extra stability there. Hitch pin hole is going to be 5/8 inch in diameter. It's going to take a standard 5/8 hitch pin. The hitch pin and clip does not come with a hitch, however it can be found here at eTrailer. We're going to have plate style safety chain loops. You can see very large openings, going to accommodate different size safety chain hooks. Now I'm going to give you a few measurements and weight capacities to help you when deciding on any of those hitch mounted accessories. From the center of our hitch pin hole to the outermost part of our bumper, you're looking at about 6 inches. That number is important for any of your hitch mounted accessories like your bike racks and cargo carriers that are going to fold up. You want to make sure they're not going to make contact with the fascia. From the ground to the top innermost part of our receiver tube, we're looking at about 12 inches. Keep that number in mind for any of your hitch mount accessories that may require a little bit more ground clearance. Now that we've gone over some of the features, let's walk you through how to get it installed. To start our installation, we're going to start on the bottom corner right behind the rear wheel on either side, and we're going to take out all the fasteners that run along the bottom of the fascia. Directions are going to say 9 fasteners. We actually only have 6 on the back. The 2 corners behind the wheels are going to be T25 Torx bit. And then our ones in the center are going to be T15. Wherever your fasteners are, these little plates, plastic plates are going to be in there. Just pull down on your fascia and then pop those out. Next, with our T25 Torx bit, we're going to remove the 3 fasteners in each wheel well. You're going to be on the back side of the wheel well, behind the tire. And with our T25 Torx bit, next we're going to pull back our wheel well liner. We're going to have a bolt right here that's holding our lower fascia onto the body of the vehicle. We're going to use the same T25 Torx bit. Once we remove this one, we're going to repeat that process on the other side of the vehicle. Next, we're going to come into our trunk. On each side, right here, there's going to be a small panel. We need to pull that little panel off. And we need to disconnect the wiring. And then there's like a plastic bolt with a spring on it that holds the taillight assembly in place. We need to remove it as well. There's a red tab that you have to pull up first. It's this tab right here. You're going to pull up, and then you're going to push right there to disconnect your wiring. The bolt itself, it's kind of got a wing, kind of looks like a wing nut. You're just going to turn it counterclockwise to remove it. It's going to look like that. Once you get that off, we're just going to slide the assembly out and we'll set it aside. You're going to repeat that same process for the other side of the vehicle. Then on each side, we're going to have 2 Torx bits we need to remove, or bolts. We're going to use that same T25 Torx bit. Next, we're going to remove the fascia. It's a good idea to have a second set of hands. If you don't, take the box that your hitch comes in, slide it underneath your fascia, because what you're going to do is you're going to start on one side. You're going to peel the liner out away from the vehicle. And when you get it out, you can actually set that edge on the box to support it while you go to the other side, because you're going to work from the outside towards the center. On this top edge, you're going to have a couple little tabs that hold you have to pull your fascia up over the top of them. You can probably get this one with your fingers. This one's a little bit hard. So if you take a trim panel tool, you're just going to pull it up like that. Once you get it loose all the way to here, you can go to the other side and work your way back to the middle. Now once you get your fascia loose, you want to make sure you don't just pull it off. In case you have any wires that are connected back there, if you have sensors on it, anything like that, you want to make sure that you're able to disconnect those and not damage them. Then we're going to set our fascia aside somewhere safe so it doesn't get damaged. This foam pad that's on the end of your bumper beam, we're going to pull it off and you're going to discard it. Next, we're going to take a 13mm socket. We're going to remove the 3 bolts on each end of a bumper beam. This top one, I'm just going to leave it, I'm going to loosen it enough where I can get it off with my fingers, but I'm going to leave it in so that when I go to the other side, this side of the bumper beam doesn't fall down or I don't have to support it. And then we'll set our bumper beam aside. Next, we're going to take one of the M8 bolts for each side, and what you're going to do is you're going to thread it in backwards. And what this is for is that when we put the hitch on in the bumper beam, because the bumper beam is going back on top of the hitch, these are support rods, or basically support for when we put them up. That way we don't have to try to hold it up and thread the other hardware in. This center tab, you can either completely remove it by cutting it off, or you can just bend it up. I'm just going to bend it up flat, and I'll just use a hammer to do that. On the plates that mount on the vehicle, you're going to have 2 little tabs here on each side. You need to bend those down. Now you can take your hitch, set it into place, and just kind of roll it forward. Next, we'll set our bumper beam over top of our hitch. Line it up with our hardware that we pre-installed, the guide pins. Make sure you don't pinch the wire on the driver's side. Now we're going to take one of our M8 bolts. You're going to put a lock washer on, then a flat washer. We'll thread one in on each side. That will support our hitch and bumper beam while we install our remaining hardware. Once we get our other hardware in place, we're going to remove the bolt that we put in for the guide pin. We're going to do the same thing. Put on a lock washer, flat washer, and then we're going to install it the same way we did our other hardware. Next, we'll come back with a 1/2-inch socket and we'll tighten all of our hardware. Once you get it all tight, we're going to come back and torque it to the specifications and the instructions. The center square on our bumper fascia, we're going to measure up 4.5 inches, and then from there, we're going to make it 5 inches wide. Take a rotary tool with a cutting blade on it, and we're just going to cut along that line, and that's so when we put our fascia back on, it's space open for our hitch. Remove that piece, and we can come back, and all the little burrs that are on there, take a utility knife. I'm just going to kind of fold them in and just run it right up the edge. Once you've got your fascia trimmed, go ahead and temporarily install it. See if there's any extra trimming you have to do. If you do, trim it, and then you're just going to reinstall the fascia in reverse order from the way you took it off. Once you have your fascia put back in place, you're ready to go. It's going to do it for a look at an installation on the Torklift EcoHitch on a 2019 Volkswagen Passat.